sketchbook videos. Find these all over the internet. People seem to like them, I guess. I don't know. Easy content, gives me time to practice being in front of the computer. Hopefully camera quality is good enough to pick some of this up. If not, I'm going to have to use a different camera or try and find something else better. Scrap the whole idea altogether. I don't have a whole lot. I only have 2 sketchbooks, a couple miscellaneous drawings. Used to draw a lot when I was at work. Like I said in some of my other videos, got too burnt out by the time I got home to do anything, so kind of took all these things with me to work and drew on break. I was looking through them. They seem to range everywhere from like mid 2000s to like maybe 2019. A handful of other drawings too that I pulled out of my locker and stuff that I still had at work. This isn't everything. This is just what I could find. I'm gonna switch to another camera. Like I said, hopefully the quality's okay. If not, I'll have to figure something out, or just scrap the whole thing. All right. So the first thing I got, this would have been the oldest thing I still have. This is probably from 11th grade. This actually wasn't a sketchbook. This is just draw on the front and backs of my notebooks and whatnot in school. So if it was 10th or 11th grade, it would have been about 2000, 2001. Just some fan art of Eva Lerny. Old comic book from the 90s. I did do a back piece, but I never filled it in with ink, and you can see just how faded it is now. It's kind of like a cool undead zombie. Alright, after that we have my old Razor notebook. I can't remember exactly what this came with. This would have been at work, so I would have had this, let's see, 2009 this started. A lot of these are still lifes, break room still lifes, whatever I was drinking or eating. Yeah, this would have been one of my other videos. I said that I'd continue to go through this weird hollow cracking peeling character concept. Definitely can't remember what half of these were inspired by it, and most of the times I just would start scribbling or just start working on a random pose, and then just kind of took things wherever they went. I think I was inspired by this by seeing, what was that? It was like a art gallery where people donate their actual bodies to this one artist, and he would fill the body full of wax and sculpt it certain ways to art in like artistic fashions and stuff, and they'd have them displayed in museums. I don't know how you can get away with something like that legally, but I remember this stuff was pretty cool, and it kind of gave me an idea for something like this. I like the thing from the Addams Family with a mix of that whole hollow character porcelain look. Another porcelain doll kind of character, one of those ball joint dolls. This probably was inspired by the Ghost in the Shell sequel. I have no idea where this idea came from. I think might have been inspired by like an old Marilyn Manson music video. I think he had like, was it the Nobodies? I can't remember. I haven't listened to him in a long time. Oh jeez, I wonder what this would be. Like the old guy in the corner is just a newspaper that was sitting on the let's see if I can even get this focused a little better. So it's just, I didn't know what to draw. I was like, should I draw that old guy in the newspaper? And I was like, I'll draw my hand and the old guy in the newspaper. I've done something like this a lot. If you ever need to get good at hands, just plop your hand down on the table and start drawing it. And eventually, after enough tries, you're going to get better at it. It's kind of like a Mad Hatter drinking tea. did have a lot of downtime sometimes at work. If I was off my usual line and in re-inspection, just going through boxes, making sure everything was okay. I'd have to usually be waiting a lot for the truck driver to come swap my boxes out and have a lot of downtime on the in-betweens. Not sure what this is. I don't know if I can get some of this detail in here, but I'm not sure, like on the chest there, that's kind of like a hollowed out spot. I'm assuming this character probably, from the looks of it, ripped their own heart out or something like that. I don't know. Kind of a neat concept, I guess. This is, yeah, 2009, so how old would I have been? 24, I think, yeah. I think this is kind of inspired by, I can't remember, like maybe one of the Saw movies or something where like there was a giant pane of glass where the characters were behind. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, kind of had this idea of what it would look like from the outside for like, so obviously like the hole here from the bullet shot and the splatter on the other side of the glass and the trail down as the person's laying there dead. And the splatter actually is pretty neat. That's not too bad. It's kind of like a Siamese twin character. I'm not gonna have a whole lot to say about this stuff. I mean, when it comes to sketchbooks, most of it's all just on a whim kind of things. Like a similar pose from different angles together. Yeah, I think this is inspired by the nurses from Silent Hill 3. Some kind of dude in the gas chamber. He seems to be liking it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna hit a batch of unfinished stuff. This was I don't know, some kind of like put together duct tape cracked porcelain doll thing I think I was going for. It wasn't turning out too well, so I just kind of abandoned it. Another abandoned one. I think I was starting something. I don't know what I was doing. The stapled smiley face thing, I think that's another Silent Hill 3 reference. If you haven't noticed, I really like that game. But yeah, I think there's a scene where there's I think like a dead body or something hung up to a wall, and then there's just a happy face just kind of slapped over them. If I remember it was Lisa's smile from Silent Hill 1. I don't think that one's... Yeah, a lot of these ones aren't dated, so I must have stopped dating or stopped caring to date. I still want to say it was around the same time though. Yeah, some kind of like zombie outbreak thing, pulling some guts out of the guy behind there. I don't know if I can get this up focus, but yeah. Bags up top say biohazard. That makes absolutely no sense. This was inspired by Silent Hill 2, the mannequin monsters. But there's a scene in like the intro to Silent Hill 2 where there's just a pile of these things, just almost like spiders, like a huge nest of spiders or something, but it was of these things. I think that's what I was kind of going for here. So in the background it's just a bunch of them, or supposed to be at least. I mean, for a sketchbook I'm not going to go crazy into detail. So just somebody happy on drugs watching their TV. I think this might have just been like a time limit thing. 10 minutes of a cool milk, or was it cool mousse? Chocolate milk. This is a double pager. I brought back the Mad Hatter guy, Alice, and apparently he's a little more crazy this time. He's making everyone eat something poisonous because everyone else is dead. Yeah, some of these get pretty detailed. I don't know if I kept going. I must have kept going back to them or something, or I had a lot of free time that day. I don't know what the actual motivation behind this one was. I think it was just started again out as just working on random poses and then just going with whatever I see there. That one's pretty cool. I like that one. I had actually shown this one off in another video about recycling this idea of a hollow character. I think I'd originally just started with the pose. That's why I used to have these lines here to fill in. And then when I started hollowing the character out, I kind of kept the outlines because the outlines were, I don't know. I think without them it probably would have maybe not sold the character as well, or maybe it would have, I don't know. 15-minute drink of plastic cup of soda. Yeah, it'd been like half a break. Oh no, not this one. This one was actually inspired by an actual accident that happened at work. Which one, I don't know. There's one line at work that was kind of, we've had, let's see, I've been working there for over 15 years now, I think. And that line has messed up at least 3 people. I mean, I won't go into details as to what actually happened, but ambulances were involved every time. Nothing seriously wrong with the line itself, just for some reason that just seems to attract the people that get caught in it. I mean, common sense when you're working on a production line to not touch moving parts and don't handle what you're not supposed to. And yeah, this one was definitely inspired by one of those events. This crazy clown guy is definitely inspired by Left 4 Dead, or no, Left 4 Dead 2? Left 4 Dead 2, yeah. Yeah, Left 4 Dead 1 and Left 4 Dead 2 were insanely fun games. I think, yeah, the amusement park level in Left 4 Dead 2, that was a fun one back before they started patching the game up. There used to be a lot of speed runs. We used to love doing that, shortcuts and whatnot. And they ended up putting up a bunch of invisible walls to keep us out. I think this started out as just another hand drawing, but then I kind of turned it into some kind of cyborg thing. I think Megatech is actually a company referenced in Ghost in the Shell, I think. Kind of a mix of the whole hollow character plus what's her name from Nightmare Before Christmas. I think there's a scene where she's re-sewing herself back up. Makes it never out. That's not too bad. Probably should have drawn like the feet on the floor or something. I tend to not finish a lot of these drawings. They're just stuff I do on a board. 20-minute Coke bottle. You can kind of see where the actual time comes if you more you put into it. Not too bad. Salt and pepper shaker back behind it, and the back in the corner then's the trays we had all of our napkins and whatnot in. Even got the reflections on the table. Well, this one's kind of like gutted like a fish or something. I think I was going to split them down the whole way, but I never split the rib cage or anything, so it's just the neck. Still kind of reminds me of like a slaughtered animal being hung up to be butchered or something. Ooh. This one was all from memory. I played Final Fantasy 11 from the beta back in like 2002 all the way, or the US beta, until probably like 2011, 2012. I finally called it, I want to say 2011, I finally called it quits. Eventually got into Final Fantasy 14, but I played a Dragoon that entire time, and I was obsessed with the class. Having a pet wyvern was like, you grew like a weird attachment to that thing. Dragoon players, we were weird. But yeah, this is what the wyvern kind of looked like. About the size of like a large dog. They were cute as hell. I think I made them look a little more ferocious, but the head shape might be a little off. I think they're more cute in the face. I think I made things a little more angular. But I mean, this was all from memory. I think by the time when I drew this, I think I was already done playing the game for a while. So we might be into like the 2010, 2011 area now. This was a mini break. We were working on this one line, and we had enough extra people where we'd work like a half hour, and then someone could sit down for 15 minutes, and we'd rotate all day doing that aside from our normal regular breaks. So anytime I sat down for my break, or my mini break, I mean, there was a computer there where they like inputted all of the, wrote up tickets and worked on work order balances and whatnot. So I just did a still life of that entire computer and everything behind it. Power cables, notes and stuff here, clipboard, mouse and keyboard, and then the actual like metal tray that held the monitor up. This is an abandoned one. I think it was supposed to be like a tree, but the roots were supposed to be like a hand. Unfinished idea. I mean, it was a neat idea. I just didn't know where to take it. I think the more I would have added, it would have taken away from the whole hand motif thing, and then you never would have even seen it. When did I draw this one while I was? No, I drew this in the break room too. This is my car. I drew it from memory. Try and see how well I knew the angles. I have a 1978 Trans Am. I've had it since about maybe 2006. I want to say 2006 I had it since, so I've had it for a long time. It's probably the longest thing I've owned. I take good care of it. I've done a lot of upgrades to it. That's one of my big things I was looking forward to when we actually bought this house. I can finally have a garage. I've had it for so many years without a garage. Every winter it either went into storage or it went to someone else's garage. Not anymore though. Let's see, just a pile of keys. Another zombie. No reference on this one. I think I just started with like a screaming face and then just went from there. I think this one started as a TF2 pyro, and then it somehow turned into whatever the hell this is. I kind of like the lines on the face. It kind of reminds me of like an old tattoo shop I used to go to as a kid. My mom was heavily tattooed, so I got to always look at the cool images on the wall while she got her work done. What is this? I think this was supposed to be Metal Gear Rex, but I never got it done. I don't think I used any references. I was going by memory, and that might have been why I stopped. Yeah, I think when I was doing these, I think I was definitely trying to like push myself to do one a day. It was like a tough exercise, and if I had any weird ideas, I was trying to at least do something kind of abstract. I mean, usually the still lifes were kind of a cop-out for that day, but I think in the back I would like randomly write up ideas if I had multiple ideas a day. That way I could save them for another day. That way I always had something, if I didn't know what to draw that day, I could just pull the list. Kind of like backup ideas. This is like an upside down. I don't know what my obsession with trees was at the time. I have no idea. Or why flowers would be growing out of the base of the neck of a hollow tree cracked out. I don't. This was definitely another one of those start with the pose thing and then just go from there. Might have been a Foley Cooley inspiration with the CRT monitor for a head thing, but I didn't know where I was going with it, and it just kind of stopped. Still kind of cool. could have finished it, but I don't know where I was going with it. A lot of these things I don't know where I'm going with them. This might be... Yeah, I never finished this one. I did have, I think, yeah, one page in the back. This image here in the top corner should look very familiar. When I went to start all this, I didn't know what to do with the intro, so I just randomly pulled out my sketchbooks, and I saw this collection of skulls that I had drawn, and I was like, oh, okay. Let's use that. That looks pretty cool. That could be thrown in a corner or to a side. Doesn't mean anything, but it could. I'd actually drawn over this a ton of times. Pyramid head in the background. That's from a Silent Hill music video called Fukuro. This is, I think that was going to be a lying figure, just a person giving a middle finger. Let's see here, because I'm not entirely sure what this guy up here is. I usually would use this back page for ideas, so it got scribbled all over a lot. You can see a bunch of random words that I'd written out. Same with down here in the bottom corner, you can kind of see the idea for that upside down head with the flowers growing out of it. Screaming tree, I never finished that. But these characters, these were a redesign of the characters I had done for the Rever animation. Because the idea for those characters was that they were going to stand above someone while also closing them in. The idea for the creature design was inspired by a couple of different Silent Hill creatures, like the Closer, and I want to say the some of the characters in the Marilyn Manson music video for The Beautiful People, who their legs would like get really long and stuff as they walked up and down this hallway. It was a cool image, and I tried like combining it all, but if I was to ever like redo that video again, these were the characters that I kind of wanted to portray. Alright, so that's this book. This one I would have been already hired on at work, so I was no longer a laborer but an operator. So this time, this still life, this is 2017, I did this from my actual station. So both my drinks I just had sitting on a cabinet, but looks like I started dating these again, so that's good. I don't know if all these are dated. Let's see here. This one was definitely from a magazine, I think. Usually we have a lot of magazines on our line, so whenever we have a long night and we're bored, that's something you can always just pull out. Me back then, I'm definitely noticing a lot of screw-ups when I'm looking at it though. The breakout line here and here are both way uneven. This one should be up higher. Yeah, but not terrible. I normally don't draw vehicles, so I thought it was an interesting way to test myself that night. I think I worked at that throughout an entire night or a day or two. Same with animals. I never really drew a lot of animals. One of the guys working there was, I think, a big hunter, so there was a lot of hunting magazines, so I kind of pulled one of them out of the drawer and saw an image of this, I don't know if it was a wolf or a fox. I think it was a wolf, but it was a painting. It's not too bad for someone who doesn't draw animals. This was definitely where do I put this? So I've been a fan of a band called Three Teeth since the really early days. I guess they're pretty big now, but one of their early promotional videos, or not videos, but promotional images they had on Facebook was of this really old dentist mannequin, which was this metal skull with interchangeable teeth. And I thought it was the coolest looking thing ever, and I ended up finding this image of it, and I kind of mixed it with like a RoboCop style body, so you can kind of like, that's definitely like a RoboCop back head part when he takes his helmet off and whatnot. And yeah, it visually I think it still looks pretty freaking cool. I probably could have finished it, but let's see, I think we had just seen the we either just saw the new It movie, or there was a trailer for it or something, or like the promotional materials coming out for it. Probably just the promotional stuff, but I don't know if it was in the paper or what. It might have been in the newspaper, and I gave it a try. Turned out okay. Yeah, so then after that I ended up drawing RoboCop. Tried to, at least. This would have been what I think was it RoboCop 2? Yeah, where they kind of ripped them all up and threw them right in front of like the police headquarters in pieces, and he's like just kind of flopping around. I would have had to have pulled up some references for that. Oh, is that it for this one too? Oh no, there is a couple things in the back. Let's see. Oh, I know I just saw something. Oh, these were ideas that I had for this channel, so I actually pulled this back out the other day. I was trying to come up with some ideas. This would probably have been months ago, because this whole channel's been a concept I've been trying to get at for a while. I might still try and reuse some of these down the road. Right now, like the intro and outro to these videos are all just, they were a rush. I did them in an afternoon. I'll try and come up with something more permanent later. But yeah, I like how like the skull is kind of in the shape of a C, so it's kind of like an HC, but just like an H skull. Kind of like that. I really do like that. That was kind of my me getting close. I kept revising, and that's about as close as I got to finding something that I liked. But I also kind of like this idea of like a skull with a bunch of paintbrushes and art utensils in it too. But I could never figure out like a good angle or a placement for them. Oh, I think we're kind of going upside down now. I might have to flip her. Or not. Oh, jeez. We'll work our way backwards. So, no idea what that was or where it came from. But this is a Rabbit Junk logo from a band. I had ideas for one to make like an animated music video for one of their songs or something, because I really wanted to get back into animation. I still do, but so I started working on like concept ideas, storyboards and whatnot for the story, and then I was using some of their promotional artwork for character designs, because it's a two-piece band, husband and wife. Their new logo was, at the time, was like this kind of like a rabbit skull, but the original design, let me go back here, was the original logo is this one. They still use this logo, but the rabbit skull logo was kind of like just I think it was like a one-off for that album. So I kind of started working on these character ideas for them, where he was wearing the rabbit skull and she had a mask that was the original logo, and it kind of started getting really heavily inspired by like Evil Ernie, where his hair was so, Evil Ernie being this guy here. His illustrations, usually his hair was real big, like being like the 80s 90s rocker, so it was usually just all black, and then you could just see his eyes, or like his eyes in his mouth and whatnot. So I kind of had like that idea for this character, and I think this was kind of like the like one of the final draft ideas I had for these characters based on like previous animated music videos they've had, or digital art they've had for albums and singles and stuff. I still really like it. I think I even had storyboards out and stuff too that I was drawing, but that was me designing the characters. That was definitely doing some Borderlands inspired kind of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I think these were just a couple more. I think I was exercising, working on like random poses with those kinds of characters to kind of get things figured out. I think at that point though I was getting kind of burnt out with the idea. Yeah. Oh jeez, there we go. Let's see. Other than that, the only other things I have are just a couple random drawings. So let's see, this actually folds out. I think I'd used a combination of pages for this. This is Valtiel from Silent Hill 3. I think at the time my girlfriend was getting a bunch of tattoos, or starting to get tattoos, and I was really interested in getting a new tattoo. I haven't had one since I was like 15. Yeah, my only 2 tattoos I have I got at a tattoo shop when I was 15. But I was thinking of doing something on my arm, and I was like, well, I should do kind of like a wraparound, like a almost wraparound tattoo, where the symbol here, it's not fully. Let's see if I can zoom in. You can see some more of the details of the symbol. Yeah, it's still not filled in, but it was the halo of the sun from, it was one of the cult symbols. It would have been on the shoulder, then he would have gone down my arm, and then the wall and the 2 characters that hang would have been going up my arm on the sides, and then this would have probably landed close to my elbow. I like the idea of it, but I don't like my first 2 tattoos that I got back then, and I have this strong distrust of tattoo artists to do anything that I would want, and I'd be like, even if I drew like the perfect image, they would probably still get it wrong, or I would not be satisfied with it. So ever since, I still haven't gotten any tattoos. Let's see. I think these are just random poses. I think I was working on poses and poses, proportions, angles, and whatnot to see what I could do, what I needed to work on. None of these are dated, but I want to say this is probably closer on maybe 2018, 2017. None of them meant anything. It was just some of the things I'd drawn, like this character's on a motorcycle. I mean, the idea was just to kind of work on like a back twist, and I was like, well, maybe they're on a motorcycle or something, so I just kind of, yeah. Same with this one. I think this character was just holding something up, and I was like, oh, well, maybe he's just holding a guy's head. I don't know. I still have absolutely no idea what this guy was supposed to be doing. I think I was going for the idea of like a mid-roundhouse kick or something. Let's see, that's the Crypt Keeper. A lot of these were drawn at work, so I just used like regular number 2 pencils and then a pen. I do apologize for the camera quality. I don't know if I can even pick up some of the details of the pen work. So yeah, I'd fill in all of the hard lines with a pen, but then I'd just kind of keep the pencil lines and then just use the pencil lines for shading. Did that too for this other one as well. This one I pulled from, I think I used an image from the newspaper. I think the Predator movie came out. I still haven't even seen it, but yeah, this was 2018. I did that. I worked at this one probably for like a week. It I don't know if I can. It was a slow process. I mean, I worked on it when I had free time. If our line was running smooth, I'd pull my sketchbook out and just doodle now and then in between working. It turned out pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, I wasn't going for anything fancy, it was just, but yeah, you can see like where the pencil lines all kind of, maybe not. Yeah, it's better. It's easier to see on the chest. A lot of pen lines, markers, and then just pencil lines and whatnot. Kind of a combination of all three. I think around the time the Venom movie came out too, this really shouldn't be the image to end this on because this is the last one I've got and it's not even that good. This was 2018, it looks like, too. I think the Venom movie was coming out too, and I was like, well, I never really drew Venom. I was like, let me take a crack at it. I didn't use any references for this one. That's why it's probably way off compared to the other stuff. So I've never been a Venom fan, so I mean, I had an idea of what he looked like face-wise and whatnot, but yeah, aside from like movies and like random comic book covers, that's about the extent of what I know for Venom. So he's probably way off in terms of character and all that, but I mean, just for a random doodle for an afternoon at work, it wasn't too bad. Could have been better, but I was just looking for something to do. Let's see, what else do I have here in this pile? I think this was just the start of something I was doing for my sister. She had an idea for a tattoo, some kind of like a clockwork thing, broken watch or something, so I was kind of working on something there that was kind of steampunky, and I never finished it because by the time, I don't know, I think she changed her mind and wanted something else. But yeah, sketchbook tour. I know I have a lot more drawings than that. A lot of stuff I've done for other people, birthday presents, or just random whatevers on request. Did a lot of drawings for my girlfriend of like animals she likes. She loves bats, so I used to go through like random pictures of bats, just draw bats for her. I have no idea where they're at. They're probably still in a box somewhere. Same with like video game characters and creatures that she likes as well. If I could find them, I'll take a picture of them or something and plaster them somewhere. I don't really have the screen framed well enough for that though. So, oh yeah, I do. I can probably put them to my side if I can find them. But yeah, sketchbook tour, drawing tour. People watch them apparently, I guess.